Namaste everyone. Namaste.
Namaste, sir. Namaste to all.
Namaste, Yogi ji.
Namaste.
everyone. Namaste.
Yeah, so let us start our session. First three Omkar, the mantras. Please unmute your microphone. Om. Let's put hands. Follow the words. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha
Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Prava
Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada
Devam Shri Sarvada
Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu
Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu
Guru Devo Maheshwara
Guru Devo Maheshwara
Guru Sakshat Param Brahma
Guru Sakshat Param Brahma
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha
Om Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacham
Yogena Vittasya Padena Vacham
Malam Sharirasya Chavaidhyakina
Malam.
Malam Sharirasya Chavajikena
Upakarotam Pravarang Muninam
Yopakarotam Pravaram Muninam
Patanjalim Pranjaliranatosmi
Patanjalim Pranjaliranatosmi
Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye
Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchitananda Murtaye
Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase
Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase
Om Vande Gurunam Charanarvinde
Om Vande Gurunam Charanarvinde
Sandarshita Swapna Sukhavubodhe
Sandashita Svatma Sakava Bodhe
Nishveyase Jangalikayamane
Nishreyase Jangalikayamane
Sansarahala Halamoh Shanti
Samsarahala Halamoha Shante
Abahu Purushakaram Shankhachakrasidharinam
Abahu Purashakaram Shankachakra Sitharinam
Sahasrashirasam Shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim
Sahasrashresam Shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim.
Together one song, three chances.
Om Shanti.
Go down, salute your teacher, all the teachers.
Anand,
Yes, Alice. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yes, good.
Yes. How was today's practice?
Oh, it was good. It was great. It's nice to learn the sequences, not just the asanas by themselves, but like how I like it when it targets one thing or it builds towards something. It was good. It was really good.
Yeah.
But the one thing I feel as though I'm getting stronger, but the one thing I can't seem to shift is my flexibility. When I sit like this and I try to fold forward, I can't seem to move. But yeah, apart from this, it's going good.
Great. So even Alice, even during this course, you have developed so much, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
do you remember in the beginning you were afraid how you will manage this?
I know. And now I'm saying to my boyfriend, oh, I think maybe I will open a yoga studio when we move back to the UK. So it's very exciting. I'm just loving learning everything and seeing like what your body can do, like the headstand and the plow. Actually, the halasana. I couldn't do this at all before, and now I can stay in the posture. Like you feel you're like it's like you're getting to know your body better. You know, you kind of understand what it's capable of. It's great. I'm really enjoying it. It's a brilliant course. Thank you.
Yeah, and I have been observing you that you have developed so much within just a short span of time. And I remember you're not sure how you'll manage, and I was encouraging you, hey, have, and you'll find
I
that.
know. I didn't think I would be able. I'm so happy. Like 3 weeks now. I thought at the beginning, oh, I'm not sure with my wrist and because I was in hospital last month, and so I had to. But it's so good, and I feel so happy and healthy, and I'm so
Yeah,
excited because I'm going back to the UK this summer, and I'm going to, teach yoga to all my friends and family. So they're excited. I'm happy.
this is so great, and this is your good karma that you will be spreading yoga now, and I'm sure you will be a good teacher. People will enjoy your class. Yeah. Great, very good. Sandeep ji, how are you? How is your shoulder and how is your practice going on?
overall very well. Yes, shoulder is a bit obstruction for me. So the push-ups I'm not able to do. Like when you go into the Vindhyasana and you do the dolphin pose, and that part is not happening because of my shoulder. Otherwise, very well. Flexibility is increasing a lot. I'm really looking forward to it and enjoying the course.
Good. And this is okay. Do you feel pain, still pain, or no pain, or just slightly?
I only feel pain when I go for the push-up. When I even take a dip and try to move my body up, then it is very, very difficult for me. So I'm avoiding it in my Surya Namaskar also. So I'm not going on Chaturanga and then rising above. So I'm straight away going to the Shashank, Swan pose or Bhujangasana.
Okay.
I'm doing it there.
Okay. So
But overall, it is very
at this point, we have to be careful. Otherwise, you have good strength, you have good courage, you have already been very adventurous.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you are doing all these things very nicely, and people are influenced with your performances. And I would encourage you, all of you, please must post your practices, your developments in our group, so that other people will also get
Okay.
motivation.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Yeah.
Actually, do you have a social media at all, the Adwait Yoga School?
Uh,
Or
Immediately,
no?
we have our YouTube channel.
Okay. Because I posted something yesterday for Yoga Day, and I wanted to tag the yoga school on Instagram, but I didn't know if you have this or not.
We are on Instagram.
Okay, I'll tag you.
You can find with Adwait Yoga. That is simple, Adwait Yoga.
Okay, thank you.
And I would enjoy. Actually, Arena is connected with us.
She's here?
Yeah, she is connected with us.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah. We always talk about yoga together. I see her, several times a week. We're always talking about the course or what we've done. It's great.
Yeah. So please must tag us and find us, and also we'll like to tag you in some posts. We are yet to post some of your poses. They were pretty good and inspiring. Yeah.
Not all of them, but
Yeah.
I think it's good to show the development also. I actually took some photos from week 1 to show the development through week 4 of the flexibility and this kind of thing. So, because I think sometimes people go to a yoga class and they see somebody who's done yoga for 10 years and then they feel demoralized, like, oh, I can't do this. Yoga's not for me. But actually, yoga's for everybody. So, that's why I want to show people you don't have to be super flexible to get the benefits and to get better.
Right. And also, if you want, I will get consent from you before posting.
Yes, please. Just in case one day I become a politician or something, you have to be careful.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, Namita, are you there? No, I think she's not there. Okay, well, so today's chapter, the remaining part of this chapter is connected with our practices only. That is joint stability, mobility, and other parts. Okay, contraindication, misalignments, all these parts. So we'll cover these topics in today's theory class. You know very well that we have 3 types of joints. One is fibrous joints, which is immovable, that cannot be moved. And then there is cartilaginous joint, which are partially movable. And the third is synovial joints, which are freely movable. Okay, and you know very well that because of joints, we can move our bodies. Okay, so any kind of movement is possible because of joints. If there had not any joints, then we cannot move our body. Okay, but there are 2 things. One is stability, another is mobility. Okay, so these are 2 opposite things. These 2 look similar, but they are 2 opposite things. One is stability, another is mobility. So stability is because of the ligament. If the ligament is thicker or the large in numbers and not so elastic, then because of that we have stability. Okay, so stability is when the surrounding tissues and mainly the ligament which connects the joint. Okay, so that prevents excessive movement. So there is setback of stability. If you want a stability, then there will be less movement. Okay, so stability inhibits the movement. Okay, so the tight ligament is good for stability. But it's not good for mobility. Similarly, the flexible ligament is good for mobility, but not good for stability. So there should be always balance. There should be a balance for stability and mobility. Okay, so that is called hypermobility. When that becomes too flexible, too elastic, then that causes hypermobility. And if that is too stiff, then you may feel a stability, but you cannot move, you cannot have proper mobility. Okay, so this chapter, this section, stability and mobility, cover that. Okay, mobility and stability. Stability is required for, like, when you want to do arm stand or unbalancing asanas, Okay. So all the just when we put the pressure or when we put the weight of our body on the joints, so that is possible because of stability. We need stability for these asanas, like crane posture or other variations of crane, or the arm standing or other variations of arm standing. So in these postures, we need a stable joint. Okay, we need a stable joint. But when we want to practice the dynamic asanas, then we need mobility. Okay, we need mobility so that we can move our body in full range to an optimum range. Okay, and why this is important to understand about mobility and stability and have balance into this to prevent the injuries. So injury prevention and pain management require the knowledge about mobility and stability. Okay, and how we can improve the stability. So the therapists or the trainers, coaches teach you uh, some exercises for stability, for stabilities. Okay, like like this is like the uh, dynamic dolphin. When you do before headstand, dynamic dolphin is a kind of improving stability and mobility. Okay, or other warming exercises. What you do in the beginning. Okay, when you start your yoga practice with joint exercises, so that is good for stability and mobility of joints. Okay. Yeah. Now there are two mechanisms that stabilizes your body joints and avoid injuries. One is called active mechanism, another is passive mechanism. So active mechanism happens because of the muscles, stronger muscles, stronger muscles around the joints. And passive mechanism is because of the ligaments, bone shapes, cartilage, joint capsule, and other things. Okay. Do you understand? Active mechanism is because of muscles, and passive mechanism is because of the these parts of joints, ligaments, bone shapes, cartilage, and joint capsules. Okay. So the
Actually,
active,
it makes a lot of sense now because with my wrist, they can't actually fix the injury, so they're building up the muscles around it so that I have more
yes,
stability. Now I understand why.
yes. So this is the point actually. You got it because we have experienced this, you know. We have experienced this. So when we make the surrounding muscles, tissues stronger with gentle exercises, then that make more proper mobility, proper mobile. And for stability, we give some weight training, okay, weight training, staying on that. But in the beginning, we should not stay long on our joints, otherwise they will become weaker. So always listening that, yeah, so this is what this topic will tell you about the mechanism. What is the mechanism? Okay, so the mechanism is actually there is sensory information. There is sensory information that is collected from around the joint involved in activity, and your brain gets the signals from the joints always. Your brain senses, and your brain keeps telling you, hey, just yes, now this is enough. So suppose when you are giving adjustment in any asana, even while giving adjustment, because you are not experiencing, so you have to ask your student whether this is enough or not. When your student says, yes, now this is red signal or stop, then you have to stop there. So giving adjustment is risky if you do not, if you are not delicate, if you are not very too, soft and too attentive to your students, and you will have to have a connection between your student and you. Actually, that chapter is yet to come, and you'll understand how to give adjustment, proper adjustment. So while practicing yourself, when you are practicing yourself, that is why mindfulness practice is very important. Because when you are mindful, then you note how your brain, what your brain tells you. Otherwise, your brain gives you a signal and you are not paying attention, and you are just putting pressure and you are overusing that, and that becomes a cause of injury. Okay, so the active mechanism, that is called active restraint mechanism. So there is sensory information that is collected from that joint area, and that is sent to the brain, and brain tells you. So that is one. Second is, depending on your ability to retrieve the sensory information, the muscles adapt accordingly. Okay, so you you also should be adaptable. You should also be very uh, uh, attentive
Bye.
to retrieve the sensory information, okay, from the brains. So this is called active mechanism. Okay, that's the active mechanism. So while practicing yourself, you will have to be attentive, and accordingly you have to uh, generate the force, and accordingly you have to put the force on the joints. Yes. Now, second is uh, neuromuscular training and proprioception. Yeah, before coming to this, the passive restraint mechanism is still to be explained. Passive mechanism is actually, yes, Sean have joined us. Namaste, Sean. Namaste.
Oh, namaste. You're back.
Yeah. Oh, sorry late to interrupt your class.
No, no,
Yeah.
this is okay. No, I really enjoyed. I, I'm glad to see you.
Yeah, I really tried to get up early, but this is my best.
Okay.
I'm trying tomorrow more wake up early.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
time is
please.
there right now?
Sorry, what is date?
What is time there?
Time is 7:30 now.
Okay.
But yesterday I quite went to bed really late. Yeah.
Mhm.
We took a 5 hours from airport to hotel.
Oh,
It's long process. Yes.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm trying to tomorrow more join early.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Just tell me the page
Yeah,
number.
please
and
open page number 315.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Simon, we are going through the biomechanics chapter. Biomechanics.
Okay.
Yeah. And biomechanics is the science of forces, how to generate the force and how much force we have to generate and how much force we have to put on the joints. So all these things are related to biomechanics. Okay. Yeah. So we are going through the movements, joint stability and joint mobility. Okay. So stability happens because of the tight joint components like tight or the stronger ligaments. So that is good for stability, but for mobility, that should be a little elastic. Okay. And the exercises, yoga exercises, help you in managing these things.
Did we lose Yogi and Anand? Okay. Opening sequence.
Okay,
I
just
can.
recap the sequence.
I'll give you the page number in a minute if I can find it.
Yeah. Okay.
He's back.
He's back.
He's back.
Okay.
Page 398. It was.
Okay.
It was no new poses. How's the hotel?
Yeah,
It's
hotel
okay?
hotel is okay. Yes, thankfully.
That's good.
Yeah, hotel is okay. I
So
recommend this hotel. Yeah.
Okay. Sandeep, Sahuna's in quarantine for 10 days in a hotel in London. So
Yes.
that's why I asked if it's nice, because they just moved back to the UK, right? Finish the tour.
When did you arrive in UK?
Yesterday night, just in UK time. Yes.
So now Sahun is going to get up at 4 a.m.
Yeah, but
4
at least,
a.m.
after this theory class, then there is a revision class.
Yes.
So you don't lose much.
Yes.
So you must ensure that you attend your revision class.
Yeah, I definitely joined that.
Yeah.
Last week I missed the chunk, the Ashtanga primary series, right?
Yeah.
I should
Yes.
have done that. Yeah, I should have done that. I couldn't.
If
do
you
that.
ever want, just call me, or I can show you. You know, like obviously you have the teach,
Yeah,
but if you want me to talk you through, I can.
yeah, it would be great. Actually, you can send the link, but
You haven't had time.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to, yeah.
But at least you're flexible. Lots of the positions you need to be flexible. So I struggle,
Okay.
but you're very flexible, so you'll find
No.
it easy.
No. I found I have really stiff my upper back. Yeah, but it's really happy to realize I have stiff problems. So it's really good. Yes. When I
Okay.
do the halasana
Mm.
and shoulder stand, I thought I was doing well, but it wasn't. It should be more band.
Yes.
I realized I couldn't do that. So its chin should be touch chest,
Yeah.
right? That's the right position. But I didn't do that so far. So and I realized it's really hard to me. And then Yugana said really stiff. I have really stiff this part. So I brought yoga heel. Can you see the yoga heel?
Oh, great.
Yoga heel and yoga mat.
Excellent.
Am I audible?
I can.
Yes.
Yes.
He's back.
I don't know what problem.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. I'm
Yes,
mute now.
Okay, so sorry. Actually, suddenly thing went wrong. Okay, yeah. So I was talking about the improvement in stability. Okay, so there are two mechanisms. If you understand these mechanisms and if we are mindful of these things while practicing, then we can prevent the injuries. Okay, so active mechanism is when uh, we are very attentive, mindful, and we uh, we receive the information and signal from the brains, which give in return to the joint sensors. Okay, so there are sensors in joints, and that sends the information to the brains, and brain tells you to put that much pressure according to need. So this is called active mechanism, and passive mechanism is that is managed by your joints, ligament, cartilage, bone, okay, and surrounding muscles. Clear? Now training the muscle. Actually, training the muscle is when we practice the yoga, or any exercise, but here I will talk about yoga. When we practice yoga, then you are giving the training to your muscles, because there is memory in muscles also. So training the muscles around the joint helps to improve its stability. The stronger the muscles, the more control will have over the movements of the joint. And muscle imbalance can also lead to joint laxity. So after injuries, training will generally involve both flexibility and strength training of joint. So the trainer or the practitioner also has to focus on two things: flexibility and strength on the joints. So the flexibility training is to help regain or remove the pain and improve the joint's range of motion for daily activities. And the strength training is both to help with functional movements and side by side building and maintaining joint stability. Okay. And Alice is a live example. She has felt an improvement in her wrist joint because of uh, that exercises. Okay. Now, toning the surrounding muscles. When you tone the surrounding muscles, that contribute greatly to the stability of joint. So the toned surrounding muscles are a great help for the joint. Okay. So if there is loss of toning, like in old age, okay, or uh, during the freezing cold, during the winter also, our muscles get stiff. Okay, that is why during winter or during the cold, we need to keep our body warmed with daily exercises. So the tone of muscles around the joints is crucial to its stability. Okay, and through inappropriate or unbalanced training or practices, the joints can be worsened. The joints can be made weaker. That is why uh, yoga should be learned from expert and should be learned very deeply, not superficially. Yoga should not be learned from YouTube or from any videos or from any book, but from the expert who have experiences of at least 10 years. Okay, that doesn't mean that you cannot teach after the course. You can teach, but the more older you will become in this, the more experienced you will become. But if you are learning very intensely, then you can be good yoga practitioner, and you can be a reliable yoga teacher. So to be a reliable yoga teacher, you must have very deep knowledge about this biomechanics. Okay, and this part. So the daily joint mobility and stability exercises very are important. That is why we add always this exercise. Okay, and you do neck circles, back and forth. Okay, butterfly, hip circles, cat cow, ankle circles, wrist circles. So all these exercises are good for toning the surrounding muscles and developing the stabilizations in the joints, and they are good for all this. Okay. Now we come to safe movement. Okay, safe movement is very important in practices, and the joints cannot move properly in some cases, like if there are short muscles. Okay, because of stiffness, we cannot move our body freely. Stiffness. So when you have beginner yoga practitioner, then you have to first let them practice the dynamic exercises. Rather than teaching them static, you should teach them first dynamic. So the dynamic exercises are good for flexibility. Okay, like Surya Namaskar or any other asanas. first try to practice dynamic. Let me give you an example. There is an asana called Paschimottanasana. Okay, Paschimottanasana or Janu Sirsasana or camel or any other asanas. So I'm giving example of Paschimottanasana. Paschimottanasana is a static posture, right? You go there and you stay there. But practicing this dynamically, like inhaling back and exhaling forward, inhaling back, exhaling forward 10 times. This is more relevant and more beneficial to beginners than go and stay. Okay. If beginners will try to practice this asana or this kind of asanas in a static mode, they may injure their back or they may injure their uh, joints. So this is better to practice them first dynamically, dynamic exercises. Okay, dynamic.
Yogi Anand, dynamic is dynamic?
Yeah, dynamic. Dynamic is moving, moving. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So they should practice moving. Why? Because the beginners, practitioners have very stiff body. Okay, their bodies are stiff, and to remove the stiffness, the movement, moving exercises are good. Moving asanas are good. Okay. Yeah. So because tension can arise because of short muscles, short tight fascia that envelops the muscle fibers, or tightness in the fascial bags that envelop the whole muscle group. Fascial restrictions distant from the local muscle group. Nervous system interactions with the muscle, tendon, and fascia. Immune system responses that tighten the fascia. Shrink wrapping of the joint capsule, contracture of the ligament and tendons, water retention in the tissues, and several other factors, including our emotional state of mind. Okay, so these cause the tension or the stiffness in the muscles. Now let us understand the planes of movement. So to understand this, I would refer you to page number 318 in our manual book. So please have a look in page number 318. Okay, you can see figure number 2.1. Okay, that is depicted in 3D space. She is standing in the anatomical position. Okay, and you can see this is uh, this is called Tadasana. This we call Samasthiti. Some people call this mountain pose also, Tadasana also, and in Ashtanga Yoga this is called Samasthiti. You can see in this picture the side plane, frontal plane, and horizontal plane. So there are three planes. There are three planes in this position. Okay, frontal, side, and horizontal planes. The frontal plane, which is the frontal plane that separates front and back. Okay, front and back. The side plane separates left and right, left part and right part, and the horizontal plane separates top and bottom. You must understand this, these planes. Frontal plane is front and back. Okay, clear? Yeah. Side plane, left and right, and the horizontal plane, top and bottom, up or down. Now the directions within the planes, they are the directions. You can see lateral, posterior, anterior, superior and inferior. These are the directions in the planes, frontal plane or side plane or horizontal plane. Okay. Now, please see figure number 2.5, 319 page. So in these movements, we have shown the flexion and extension. We have already gone through these movements, but in this chapter, you will see with example in which asana you do these movements. Okay. You can see in this Utthit Haspadangosthasana and Natarajasana, you see the flexion and extension. So in Utthit Haspadangosthasana, there is flexion. Okay. And in Natarajasana, there is extension. Similarly, in Padahastasana, there is flexion, and in Sphinx pose, or which looks like cobra, there is flexion and extension of the core. Extension of the core, okay? Similarly, in cow face pose, Gomukha Asana, you can see the internal and external rotations. You understood the movement about rotations, internal rotation and external rotation. So in the cow face pose, you see A, the arrow A, you can see the A, that is external rotation of the top arm. Sorry, that is B is the top arm. B is top arm, okay? And C is internal rotation of the bottom arm. And A is external rotation of the legs at the hip joint. External rotation. Can you see in the book? Yeah. This is very much clear. Similarly, in Utkat Asana, you can see different movements. Utkat Asana, or this is also called goddess pose. Utkat Konasana, goddess pose. In Sanskrit, it is called Utkat Konasana. Utkat Asana is when you bring your hands closer, that becomes Utkat Asana. Okay, when it brings closer. And when you take your hands in sideways, this is called goddess pose. Sideways, that is called goddess pose in English. In Sanskrit, it's called Utkat Konasana. So in Utkat Konasana, you can see the upper arm in external rotation and the thighs external rotation. So these two parts are going in external rotation. Can you feel? Okay. And in eagle posture also, there is external rotation in arms, and in thigh there is internal rotation in thigh. Okay. Now abduction and adduction. You know abduction and adduction. Abduction is when you take the middle part, you take any part of the body from middle point, you take away from the middle point. That is called abduction. And adduction is when that comes towards the middle point. It's clear. If you have any question, please ask me. Similarly, side flexion. Side flexion is also very clear. Side flexion, when you do side Tadasana, that's side flexion. And horizontal abduction. Horizontal abduction is taking when that go away, external rotation or flexion. You can see the abduction into the legs in goddess pose. There is abduction into the legs and thighs in external rotation, and in arm the flexion. In cow face pose, you can see this already shown earlier. Okay. Now there is this guideline to safeguard the knee during yoga practice. Okay. Warm into your practice. That is you. That what you do, and pay attention. I focus more on this. Pay attention. Moment to moment awareness is key for yoga. And paying attention is actually mindfulness practice. This is called mindfulness. So the mindfulness practice is very important to keep your body safe always. And check your breathing. Breathing is also very important, and I always keep reminding you, pay on your breathings, breathe properly, because the quality of your breath, its rate, depth, and ease is reliable inner guide to the quality of your effort. If your breathing is restricted or you are pushing too hard, then you not have proper supply of energy. So always let your breathing guide, let your breath incorporate, play a great role, vital role in your yoga practice. Okay. And next point is stay inside your age. So this also happens because of your mindfulness. Because when you are mindful to your part of the body, then you do not go outside the range. You stay inside only. You do not cross the edge. Okay. And because of ambitions or tempting to develop very quickly, very shortly, you, you put hard, and that becomes cause of injuries. So always listen your body, always listen your limitations, and stay inside that area. Sandeep ji has experienced this. Yeah. So this is better to go safe than injuring ourselves. Then avoid sensation in your knee. Whenever you feel any sensation in the knee joints, or not only in knee joints, but in any joint, then you have to stop there. That is why always you have to listen your body in every practice, be that advanced practice or intermediate or even the beginner practices also. Okay. Honor your own range of motion. We have understood that the range of motion depends on the flexibility in the joints, ligaments. So over mobility, over flexibility is also not good for our joints. And avoid twisting your knee. Your knees should not be twisted. Okay. Even in pigeon posture also. In pigeon posture, you have to bend your leg, okay, and your knee is slightly twisted in pigeon posture, the front knee, and that is why in that asana you have to be attentive. In pigeon, in cow face, in lotus, okay, in hero pose. So in all these postures, your knees are twisted, but you have to be mindful of. I hope you'll remember these asanas: pigeon, hero pose, cow face, and lotus posture. So before practicing these asanas, you must stabilize your joints with butterfly or other exercises. Before practicing lotus, butterfly is important. Okay. And there is sequence of lotus posture in our sequence chapter. You may have seen. Today you have practiced sequence, right? Yeah. So in sequence you have seen. So going into that ultimate, the final posture, you have to practice some other asanas for joint stability and mobility. Okay, and always avoid pressure on your knee. Do not pressurize your knee. That is why to save your knee joints, you should shift your body weight into your heels in bent knee poses. Always remember, in all bent knee poses like chair posture or warrior two or high lunge or side angle pose, your knees are bent. So in these asanas, you have to shift your body weight into your heels, okay, rather than on the knees. So you can shift the body weight into your heels or the over ankle also, and you can shift your body weight above the knee also, above the knee, and avoid hyperextension. Always avoid hyperextension. Avoid the red flags. Red flags, what are the red flags? Like sharpness, shooting, numbness, or tingling in the limbs. All these are the red flags. Or anything that makes you grunt or grimace, you have to avoid. Or intensive pressure. When you put too much pressure on joints, then that may cause damage to the cartilage, tendons, or ligaments. So in spite of your yoga teacher's instructions, you have to pay attention on your body sensations, because yoga teacher can't feel your body. A yoga teacher gives instruction or cueing, but you have to customize that. Okay, here you have to be more attentive to your body. Okay, and also, while practicing stretchings or when any asana demands your more energies, then breathe more deeply, breathe into that, and breathe from belly. That is the safest place to feel when you are stretching. Whenever you are feeling too much stretch, start breathing from your belly, and you will find that that will save you. Okay, and also by using yoga props, by modifying the asanas and using the yoga props can save your joints. Props, yoga props. Okay, now next is contraindications, misalignments, and adaptations. Throughout the yoga practice, you have been taught about the contraindications. That is medical term that is often used in yoga by yoga teachers. Okay, so the contraindications are side effects or the red flags or the alerts. So, along with the benefits of an asana or yoga practice, you must have awareness or knowledge about contraindications as well. So, always teach yourself and your students about the benefits, but at the same time, contraindications for the safety. Okay, and alignments also. You have to teach alignments. So, you should learn about alignments. about the minute changes. And you'll find that by making a minute change, you can feel a good relax, good ease or comfort in an asana. If you are doing like any asana in wrong alignment, wrongly, then uh, that is not comfortable. So every asana should give you comfort. This is what is called sthir sukham asanam. Please remember this Sanskrit line. The definition of your asana or posture is sthir sukham. Sthir sukham is when you feel comfort in an asana. Comfort. And why you don't feel comfort? Because you are paining. Your body is paining. Your body is alarming, and you are putting too much pressure. But that is natural also. In the beginning, if your body is stiff, that will tell you. But also listen, because slowly you have to develop, not in one day.
Did you say Sthir? What's the word? The Sanskrit word?
Sthir, STHIR, sthir.
Sthir Sukham.
Yeah, sthir sukham, SUKHAM, sthir sukham.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, welcome. So please remember, you guys, sthir sukham. When anybody asks you, or even for yourself also, asana is sthir sukham in Sanskrit, and sthir sukham in English is stillness of happiness or joy or physical comfort, rapture. These are called sukham, and you should feel comfortable in asana. But in the beginning, you may not feel, but slowly when you develop the flexibility, you become very still in any asana.
Yoganan, Sukhana is happy, right? Sukhana?
Sukham, SUKHAM. Sukham. Sukham is joy. Sukham is joy or happiness. Sukham is joy or happiness. Okay. And I have given a table on page number 326. So you have given physical condition, primary concern, contraindications, and benefits of yoga. Okay. Physical condition like hamstring injury. If there is hamstring injury, then primary concern is causing further injury by straining the ligament and causing repeated injury by overstretching. Contraindications are avoid stretching for the first week after injury or during inflammation. Proceed with caution in all poses that stretch the hamstrings and bend the knees to ease the stress on the muscle group, like forward bending, downward facing dog, and triangle posture. Okay, so these are contraindications in hamstring injury or a sprain or a strain. And benefits of yoga: strengthen the hamstring with isometric contractions, like a staff pose, bridge pose, or locust pose. Okay. So these are isometric contractions. Similarly, hip replacement. If there is hip replacement, then the primary concern is dislocating the hip joint. And contraindications are leg adduction, like eagle pose, cow face pose, or reclined tush pose. This is called Supta Parivartanasana. And hip flexion beyond 90-degree, like child pose or pigeon pose. And internal thigh rotation, as with mountain pose and downward facing dog. So these poses can still be done, but don't internally rotate the thighs. And benefits of yoga: stabilize the joint. When you practice the proper asanas for this, then that will stabilize the joint, strengthen the surrounding muscles, and regain freedom of movement. So this is for in hip replacement condition. Similarly, there is a knee injury or lower back pain, okay, scoliosis, shoulder injury, or SI joint dysfunction, joint pain, wrist injury. Alice, this is good for you. Wrist injury, pain and carpal tunnel syndrome, So you have to be mindful of all these things. And this is very informative table. You must go through at your own, every line, each and every line, and that will enhance your knowledge about the injury management. Now misalignment. You can see misalignment. Some misalignments are by born, by nature, and some misalignments arise after a prolonged position. If somebody are habitual to sit or to be in a posture, in wrong posture, that develop the misalignments in the bones, in the structures. You can see the figure 1.1 and 1.2. 1.1 you can see the aligned person and misaligned body. Similarly, in figure 1.2, so there is alignment issue in the hip joints. In figure A, that cannot be moved properly, and B you can see. So there is femoral neck shaft angle varies considerably. Okay, so that is bone misalignments, bones that inhibits. Similarly, you can see on page number 329 in triangle posture. The first is 110 degree and other is 150 degree, because of the femoral neck angle in the first picture. In the earlier picture you have seen, figure 1.3.
Yogi Anand, the
Yes.
110 degree means arms and body's angle, or
Yeah,
neck
one
and shoulders angle.
lower one.
The move down.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Now see figure 2.1 on page number 330 in low lunge. So in figure A, in low lunge Anjaneyasana with the back knee further back. And in B, may place less stress upon the knee than having the knee forward. Okay. So when you take your knee more back, then there is less stress upon that. And the skewing in the warrior pose, you can see the figure 2.2, the standard alignment of warrior 2. And 2.3. 2.3 is the T. Krishnamacharya, the guru of K. Pattabhi, founder of modern Ashtanga Yoga, is in side angle. So see the knee bending and the alignment of the both feet. Okay, so this is the proper alignment. This is an example, but you can also learn with your own intelligence, or while practicing yourself by listening the joints. You can experience, you can understand. Figure 2.4 and 2.5, see, both are the ways A and B. So in A figure, the Utkatasana chair posture is of Iyengar Yoga and B is Ashtanga Yoga. Okay, so in different styles, both are okay. Both are the ways, both are the variations of this, the chair posture. Any question, Alice?
No, I'm afraid I have to leave. Thank you. This is really important chapter. Thanks.
Okay. Similarly, in the warrior pose, page number 333, you can see A, B, C. So the C is the best way. The knee may be aligned over the ankle, as is often described in a standard yoga class. So this is the right way of doing warrior 2, C. Okay. Now, correct alignment matters because it reduces your risk of injury, biomechanical efficiency, then that lets you conserve energy, reduces fatigues, builds strength, better energy flow, and better appearance. These are the benefits of proper alignment in yoga. Adaptability is when you are able to adjust yourself really to different conditions and able to adjust to new conditions. That's called adaptability. Okay. Adaptability is actually able or willing to change. Okay. And adaptability is you have to listen to your body and you have to modify accordingly. Okay. And if you are very restricted that I have to follow all the instructions of teacher and in the same way, then that is not adaptability. Adaptability is you have to change your body according to your strength. There is a standard way of doing and also customizing that. And there are different examples of child pose, warrior 2 pose, goddess pose, alternate nostril breathings. So these are the adaptabilities. There are some examples. And in addition to them, uh, you can be expert in adaptability by listening your body and modifying the postures and applying the forces according to the informations you get from your brains, because your brains keep telling you that how much force you have to give on certain joint in an asana. Okay, so that was biomechanic chapter, and we have covered all the points in this. And with this chapter, our yoga anatomy and physiology has been completed. Later on, go through all the chapters in, make the note if for your queries, questions, and then you can ask me later, and I'll be happy to answer them. Okay.